Good morning, everyone. It is fun times in the market again. Apparently, US and China, we're going to be friends again. Tesla's flying after earnings. So I had to bring in my good friend Adam Mesh to explain to me what the hell's going on out there. My name is Michael Camo. I'm director of content for T3 Live. So, Adam, what do you make of this whole mess we call the market? You're having fun out there?
Yeah, I'm having fun. It's the headline factors. It's crazy how, despite this being the fifth year of a Trump presidency, they still react so much to these headlines, and then it always works its way back. Like, I hate Powell, lower interest rates. Oh my God, he's trying to control the Fed. Market goes down. I'm not firing him. Market goes back up. It's a little bit insane how much money moves based on tweets.
Yeah, one funny thing I've noticed is that it seems like people started liking Powell more when Trump started knocking him. Like, we saw that we did this with a poll on T3 Live, and people gave Powell this super high approval rating, and I think it's because Trump started attacking him. So, I mean, have you ever been in an environment like this where we're getting knocked around on headlines like this so frequently?
I mean, I guess it's kind of like trying to trade oil, right? Like, so many world events, weather, climate, political events, everything affects the price of oil on a daily basis. So I stopped trading oil because it got ridiculous. And now you have a market that's a little bit ridiculous. I feel like everyone knew on Monday that it was like a fake down move. Like, a lot of things were closed. It felt like weak selling, and then we had the rally at the end of the day, but who knew we would rally as much as we did? Monday we looked horrible, and then we had 2 days of just pure vertical up move or anything you do. And that's what I told people. I've been telling people, just don't overreact to anything, and especially don't expect follow through. So not expecting follow through on Monday was correct. Incorrect, not expecting follow through yesterday. Didn't expect this secondary move off of yesterday. But where are we now? We're back to right around a little bit below where we were last week when I spoke to you.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. I was away last week.
Yeah, this does seem very funny. I think that comparison to oil is very interesting, because when you have basically Trump is the weather, and he decides when it rains, he decides when it's sunny out. So the last time we talked, you were very, very active. Is your level still up there? Are you still pumping out hundreds of trades a day?
No, today I did 10. When the market opens up and stays up and climbs higher, very hard to trade.
Why is that?
Well, you're not going to short a major rally, because if you tried to do that yesterday, you would have got killed. And if you were doing it this morning, you would have got killed. You're not going to buy things that are up as much when you're in shock that they're up that much after how bad they looked on Monday. So what do? You just kind of do nothing.
Okay. Do you have any sense that the market is ready to actually trend in either direction?
No.
Still that we're stuck in the chop shop?
I think so.
Okay. All right. So want to get to some Q&A, but I also want to pick your brain on a couple of topics. So I don't know if everybody was here, but a couple of weeks ago, for the first time in my life, I saw Adam Mesh speechless. Adam is a very, very chatty. I'm sure you guys that follow Adam Mesh, he's a very, very chatty guy. He's very sociable. He's very outgoing. But he made a whole bunch of money at the start of a live stream because we had that the bond auction, and then Trump did his message on Truth Social that sent markets out of control. So we did. Now, to be fair, we did talk about the week before that big losses, where Adam shared details on 2 major 6-figure losses he took early in his career by listening to other people and doubling down on these bad ideas. But I want to talk on the flip side of that, how do you handle a big win and not let it go to your head, not let that throw you off your game?
So I think a big win usually comes when you're not looking for it. I think for me, most big wins have come from just trying to make good trades, not taking a big shot. So it's kind of like a baseball player who's like in a good rhythm, who's getting hits, just focusing on good contact, and then sometimes the ball takes off. So when you're trading well and you're in a mindset like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to trade what I see. I think it naturally happens. And the mindset afterwards is to not think every day will be like that. You know, I was most nervous about the day after my really big day because I didn't want to over trade. I still lost money because I got surprised by how much we went down on the next day. But since then, very under control, just collecting premium. You know, Monday was a bad day, but Tuesday I was up 3 times what I was down Monday. And today I'm up again, double what I was down Monday. So I'm having a good week with the stocks I came in with, options I came in with, but I'm not looking at today's market, looking at what the market's up, saying I should be up a lot of money in this account, because that's not what I do. So
Okay. Yeah, but I do think there is a parallel to, let's say, like any let's say poker. Let's say you have massive night at the casinos. I think for a lot of people, there's a temptation to do things like start taking more. Oh, I can afford to give some back, so let me bet bigger. So do you ever get tempted to do anything like that, like make bigger trades, anything along those lines?
I actually paid myself after that day. I took money out of my account specifically to prevent that.
Oh, interesting. Now, do you believe in the idea of like,
I didn't want to be trading with more money after I had a really big day. Like when you have as big a day as I had, your buying power goes up a lot. You know, and I didn't want to have more buying power. I wanted to have the same or less. So I took out money.
Interesting. So it's interesting because you've been doing it for so long, and still you had to introduce protection to yourself. You had to put handcuffs on yourself. Now, do you ever do things like buy yourself any, like a gift or anything, or splurge on anything for your family? Do you do anything like that?
No. From the stock market?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Too old. Just too seasoned. You know, I don't treat the market like that. When I was younger, I used to. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, should be honest. Why not? Let's just be really honest.
Yeah.
So when I was in my 20s and I wasn't married with kids and I was trading a lot and the money was coming in, my friend was like, dude, you gotta get something. You gotta do something. And yeah. So we ended up like we went to a strip bar. This is in fairness, this is early 2000s, and I ended up dating a stripper that had appeared on The Sopranos. And my buddy afterwards was like, it was short lived. He was like, I meant like buy a car. He goes, I didn't mean go to a strip bar. What's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I was in my early 20s. And I was just laughing at myself because it was so cheesy and like whatever. But so yeah, you can't associate it, because if you start associating like a good day with spend money, then what do you do on a bad day? Right? My goal at this point is to not have the market impact my daily decisions. I just try to make good trades, like an athlete, like show up, perform, do my job to the best of my ability.
Are there any athletes in particular like you find inspiring?
Yeah, like I like the guys that have the big contracts already and still work harder than anyone else. So a lot of times it's quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, like superstars that are already worth over $100 million and are truly playing their heart out and putting their body on the line for the love of the game. Like LeBron James, even like he's 40. He's probably a billionaire. He does it because like they're not in it. They're in it for the love of the game. And I respect watching Jalen Brunson, who turned down more money to be a Knick. Like athletes like that are just inspiring.
Yeah, I think it's interesting where a lot of people will say, "Oh, they're just in it for the money," but it's it's like they could have retired by the time they were like 28. A lot of these guys, but I mean, you look at people like Kobe Bryant who dealt with a lot of injuries, put a ton of wear and tear in their bodies. Like they're not doing it just for money.
Right. And so I think that's what I respect. But like I think when you trade like we do, and I think it's everyone on this call, I assume, it is like kind of like being an athlete because you have wins, you have losses, you have to control your emotions. You don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low, and every day is different.
Like trading does seem tricky because it seems like in a lot of other fields, like raw aggression seems to reward you. Like if a basketball player, it's interesting, like, because if a basketball player is on a hot streak, like shooting threes, they're just going to feed him the ball like crazy. In a way, that's like sizing up. It's just like making more trades. So, Adam, are you a big Knicks fan?
Yeah, I was at the game the other night.
Interesting. So I had a real depressing moment last week. I was a Knicks fan way back in the day I was rewatching clips from Game 7 versus the Rockets in I think 94 with John Starks with going like 2 for whatever it was, 1 for 16 from 3-point range.
Okay.
So it is interesting with like
that's during when OJ was
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the OJ game.
Yeah, that was the worst experience I've ever had watching any kind of sport. But yeah, it is interesting where it seems like in sports, it's like put the pedal to the metal when things are going well. And like trading, it seems interesting in that it's like, no, you need to relax. Maybe it's because in trading, it's like the money is the sport.
Yeah. Well, the money is the score.
Yeah, it's
the money's the score.
Yeah. Definitely interesting. Okay, let's get people, you folks in the chat, we want to hear from you. Tell us, where are you from? Where are you watching from? We get people from all over the world. We're curious about where everybody's from. But I'm in New York City. Adam is in Long Island. Let us know where you are watching from. So since it is earnings season, do you have any earnings specific strategies? Like, do you take options into earnings, things like that? Like, what do you do differently, if anything, during earnings season?
I'll only trade stocks after the earnings because, if we're being real, like, let me ask you a question just to reverse it. If the CEO of a company came to you and said, here's what our earnings are going to be, would you guarantee you can make money off of that information?
No way. Impossible.
Would you put a big bet even?
On a specific earnings report, it would have probably not, because I generally have to use reverse psychology in myself.
Right.
In stock. So I think with like trying to figure out a specific earnings report, not worth the mental, not like the weight on my head. So not for me personally.
Right. Oh shoot.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
No problem. All right. Well, we got a good crowd. We have Los Angeles in the house, Denver, Tampa, Tampa. I said Tampa. I can't believe I said that. Wendy B from Minneapolis. Go Timberwolves. I'm a huge Prince fan. So, yeah, we love Minneapolis, Spokane, Washington, South Carolina, Virginia Beach, Arroyo Grande, California. So, Adam, what's going on with you right now? What are you doing?
I just put on a calendar spread where I bought like the 460 puts and sold the 459. So it's like a low risk play where, if the market comes down a little bit, you could double your money. If not, it's kind of like a 50-50 trade because I'm up in everything else. So there's just kind of to protect. It looked like the market was starting to sell off while we're on this call a little bit.
And that was in the Qs?
Yeah. Just to like I'm up today on positions I came in with, and I'm assuming we're going to sell off a little bit. So just trying to hedge against that a little bit. Just nothing big though.
Okay, let us know, everybody out there in the audience, everybody listening, let us know what is your biggest challenge, your biggest trading challenge. Okay, we have William O'Neill. I don't think this is the William O'Neill, but William is saying, my biggest trading challenge is staying in the trade when it is working. I see the profit and bail. So, Adam, how do you stay in something that's working?
Well, with options, it's a lot easier because you could, first of all, with stocks or options, you could piece out part of your position, sell some, keep the rest, feel good about that. But with options, you could always sell out and buy a higher strike so your risk is less.
Okay, Wendy is saying right now it's sitting on my hands and not putting on new trades. Okay, so Adam, I'm going to modify Wendy's question. Wendy, we love you. We hope you don't mind this, but so Adam, when do you sit on your hands? So when is it the right time to sit on your hands?
Now, today, days like today where the market's up a lot, and oh my God, wait, did you see what just happened?
I did not.
The Qs just dropped. Is there news? Can you see news?
Hold on. Anybody out there in the chat, if you know what's going on in the market, why things just collapsed.
Might be nothing, but they just dropped like 2 points in a tick. Like I had an order and it got executed, and I was like, that's weird. Are they coming down more? Let me see. Sorry, you can't take your eyes off this market. That's the thing. I don't know if was there.
Okay, all right. So there's a headline. Bessent is declining to comment on the Wall Street Journal story on lowering tariffs on China, but would not be surprised if they went down in a mutual way. So it looks like they're saying that the Wall Street Journal story may not be true. Of course, unconfirmed, folks. It's hard to know what to believe these days, but it looks like that Wall Street Journal story is being walked back.
Yeah, I'm not selling that news. That seems like a fake overreaction.
Okay. All right. Back to, okay. In general, when do you want to sit on your hands?
On days like today where you just feel like, there's more ways to lose than there are to win, like how are we going to win today? Ask yourself that question. Like, where could you make a lot of money today? How would you make a lot of money today? Okay. Are you going to make a lot of money going long now? Probably not. You probably missed it. Market's up a lot. There's not a lot of money. And if you do, it's going to be back and forth, hard to stay in. So you don't want to take a big swing long. Okay. You're going to make a lot of money short. You know what? Yesterday you were probably thinking that, but now 2 days in a row, hard to get against this market that keeps just wanting to push higher. And we know the range from a couple weeks ago. We know the Qs could get into the high 460s, not the low. So we know there's room to go higher. Now the third is interesting. If you're an options trader, is like, do I want to collect premium on it to stay where it is? And the answer is still no, because every move we see is exaggerated. Big ups, big downs. That's the time to sit on your hands, or just be light and get in and out of different positions. That's what I'm doing. I'm just I'm light, and I sold pieces of what I came in with this morning. I didn't sell all because if we went higher, but like there's certain stocks where I wish I sold all, but I'm happy I sold some. And I think that answers the question for for William is, that's how I feel. If I took some off the table, I feel good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Linda is saying too slow to buy and too quick to sell. So how can people feel, more confident in just pulling the trigger?
So with the buying, what you want to watch for is stocks that stop going down ahead of the market. Like for me, a couple of weeks ago, Uber was a great example. Now there's been more news out, but like Uber was off its lows when the market was still at its lows. And you could see, okay, if we push it all, this thing wants to run higher. It's like, I would say to look for stocks that are jumping the gun. Stocks that like look as if the market, like if you're just watching that stock, it would appear as if we started to rally off a low, but we haven't, but they're already started. Kind of like the market itself on Monday afternoon, where if you only watched the last 30 minutes of trading on Monday, you would have been like, oh, this market's so strong. It just was leaning bullish. And then we saw 2 days of follow through. So look for things that are jumping the gun a little bit.
Okay. Again, folks, let us know in the chat, what is your biggest trading challenge? Like, what are you struggling with most? So Adam, I wanted to ask you because you said you just put on a calendar spread for the Qs.
Yeah, it's over. I just made a small amount. I'm done.
Okay. So, all right. So folks, if you're paying attention, Adam is out of that trade. Okay. So in general, when do you use calendar spreads?
I like them for this market where I'm not really comfortable taking big risk. And like I'm trying to pick where either strength or weakness with minimal risk. So calendar spread's comfortable because if you put on a point spread, you're risking 46 cents to make 50 cents. So it's kind of just like testing your read on the market. In this case, I put it on bearish and, I should have just bought puts had I known because the market just got whacked. So.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask.
Sorry, not whacked, but just hit.
Okay, then why not just buy puts in the first place?
A lot more risk.
And you're defining risk as just the number of dollars on the line?
Yeah. If you put on a spread, it's going to be, depending on how you when I put on the spread, it's like, I take a $2.50 risk and turn it to 45 cents. It's more for the drift of making a decision and see if I'm right on my read than trying to make a lot of money. When there's bigger opportunities, like where we had been down for a while a couple weeks ago, and we were waiting for the tariff news, that's where you don't want to be hedged because if we were going high. I don't think we have a move like that in us to either side right now. So like a bigger move. I think it's going to be more back and forth, which is why I want premium collection as a component of my trade.
Okay. So is that how you're approaching things let's call it like the next 2 weeks or so. Like, is that your mode of thinking for now?
It could change any day depending on what's being said, what's being done. If something else happens with China, bad or good, and we see an extreme reaction, anything extreme, like if anything right now, which side are you guys leaning? Like I'm looking at this, I'm not a buyer of this market here. I still feel uncomfortable. I still don't like overall everything. So if anything, I'm leaning down. I just don't think we're getting a big down move right now.
Okay.
But I think it's much more believable that we get a big down move than a big up move. So I'm not buying. Hesitant to be bearish, but the trade I just put on was bearish but small.
Okay. Is there anything people should not be doing in this type of environment?
Making big plays in an unknown environment, because even if you're right with the volatility, you're going to have to sit through a lot. So light is right, you know?
Okay. So what are you in right now?
I have BitO, which I still like. That Bitcoin's been doing well, kind of breaking out against the market. Still have that Core Z. I have a Iron Condor and Core Weave. I have an Iron Condor in the Russell. I have a bull put spread. I sold the 70.35 bull put spread in NVIDIA. I have a quantum stock, Uber I have, which has been great. My SoFi I was long. I sold this morning. But again, these are all smaller positions. So
okay. All right. So what are you going to look? What do you look for to know when it's time to go bigger?
Remember what I said last week or before? I was talking to this audience, I believe, and when you're making those decisions and you have the drift, especially in individual stocks, you have that edge where you start to see things a little bit sooner. You know, you have to trust that because you put in the work, because you're trading these stocks, you have an advantage and you're seeing something that others aren't. And so when I see a stock start to look strong, and I think I'm seeing it faster because of the fact that I was in it, then maybe I'll be more aggressive.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
By the way, I do want to mention Thursday at 4:30, I have a Tasty Trade interview with Tom Sosnoff. I do those once a month. It's kind of like the reverse of what we're doing here. The way you're interviewing me, I interview him. And he's the best options trader I know. So it's a great conversation. People learn a lot. And I definitely want to invite everyone to come on. And hopefully we have a link to send out so that people could join if they want to.
Yeah, make sure, guys. There's a link below where you can get a free look at Mesh Prime. If you put your email address in there, actually, Patrick put it in the chat. So you can go to this link. Also, click on the link down below. You can sign up and get invited to that interview. Okay, yeah. Tom Sosnoff.
I have a question now. Yeah, I want everyone to join for that. I have a question now for all the doctors on the call. I have a fun one today. So I'm going later today for an endoscopy. Do you know what that is, Michael?
It's like going down your throat?
Yeah. So I was told like 5 months ago I had an ulcer. They gave me medication. I feel fine, but apparently you have to come back and make sure it's gone. But in order to put the thing down your throat, they have to put you under. They put like the gas thing on for a second and you like fall asleep. And then you wake up a couple minutes later. So we have David on here who's a GI. So this is my question. I'm not asking for your medical question. I didn't sleep well last night in general. I was in Arizona last week, the time difference. I just had trouble sleeping. I woke up really early. So if I'm only going on 4 hours sleep and they give me that thing and I go out, is there a chance I take a 2-hour nap? Or is it a different kind of thing and I'll wake up? My concern is my wife is going to leave without me because I'm not allowed to drive home and I'll just be sleeping there for the rest of the day. Like, so if you're tired and you need a nap and you take this thing, will it just put you to sleep for hours or does it wear off and you wake up and you're just tired anyhow? That's my question.
All right. David is saying you will have twilight sedation. We're just going to hope David isn't a maniac, just making stuff up here.
No, he's a GI. Twilight sedation is, what is that? Moderate conscious sedation. Okay, so I'll be like kind of like able to hear things and just be out of it a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, you should. I do think, Adam, this gives us a unique opportunity. I do think you should trade in that condition just to see if maybe your inhibitions are gone, you're not overthinking things, just to see what happens.
I'm not. Yeah. Wait, you said I should trade or I shouldn't trade?
You should, just to see. You never know.
No, no, I'm not trading. That's why I'm also not doing a lot. I know I have to leave. I know I have to go somewhere.
Yeah, David is saying you should wake up shortly after the.
David, thank you. I was figuring that. I was more like just thinking about it. Like I'm really tired. Like I wouldn't mind napping for an hour. But I know I'm gonna wake up.
It was funny. Yeah, I actually got put out. I had like a minor medical procedure last year, and I got put out, and I woke up when that earthquake started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, I opened up my eyes, and like they sat me up, and like the building started shaking, and I was like,
that's weird, right?
Yeah, I was like, is this a terrorist attack or something? I was totally confused.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking now. Yeah, I wouldn't want people doing much. Friends, family, anyone on this call. We'll have our opportunities. We're doing a good job of finding those opportunities. But I don't want this. This isn't. I don't want to chase here or go against it. So
yeah, and if anybody out there, if you're taking anesthesia today, you're going out, maybe think about trading less.
By the way, talk about Tesla. The one thing I want to bring up, I think we could have like a comparison situation. So my case study for how Tesla will do because the whole idea is that sales are down because they don't like what Elon's doing with Doge. Is that right?
It's part of the story.
What's the other one?
The macro environment, tariffs, supply chain stuff.
But let's just stick with that Doge part, right? I think our case study for that would be Bud Light. And it's kind of reverse. It's interesting because it's reverse because I would say like for the most part, Democrats aren't happy with what Elon's doing with Doge, and Republicans weren't happy with the Bud Light. Yeah, so it's two different parties. But I just looked at Bud Light because Bud Light was a stock that got boycotted. A lot of people were upset by it. And over time, it came back. You know, it seemed like it was going to be beaten down for a while. It was longer than you thought. But like a year plus later, it's back. But I think it did take a while. And I don't know if the mindsets of Republicans and Democrats are different. It would be interesting to do a study on that. Maybe I'll ask Sosnoff. I will ask Sosnoff that on Thursday if you want to hear. I'm going to ask him, does political bias, does your political affiliation influence how you trade? Different mindsets. I don't know. That's interesting. But assuming there's not a difference, that all people are people and it's just a mentality, the mindset would be that people will get over it with Tesla and eventually that won't be a factor anymore.
Yeah, I do think it's definitely an interesting. I haven't seen anybody make that comparison before, but it is interesting. I think the interesting thing is Elon Musk is so associated with the company and he's out there every day. Whereas like Bud Light had like Dylan Mulvaney and they basically just cut all those ties. So it will be interesting. I mean, what about anybody in the audience? Have you changed your mind one way or the other about buying a Tesla?
I don't want to ask people to say that. I like keeping it trading and I don't want to get political. People have enough venues, I've learned. There's enough places you could go to talk politics. I was keeping it a general, but I don't want to ask specific.
I find our audience, they like talking. As long as there's joking and there's laughing, we can talk politics like pretty aggressively. People generally
I'm sensitive. I don't want to upset anybody. So Mark made 38% overnight on Tesla using Steve Smith's earnings. That's great. Nice. Yeah, market comes right back. Uber had the news that they're getting in trouble for their subscription practices. Doesn't it feel like it feels for me like my stocks aren't up as much as I would think they would be.
What do you own?
All the ones I named before, but like, I don't know. Even like when I look at
Well, I mean, like, are you mostly in options positions?
stocks and options, like Palantir is up a lot.
Yeah.
Uber's down 11 cents today. That's like surprising. You know, why is Uber down? Let me see. I don't know why. Does it have earnings?
I don't see any. They are not reporting to my knowledge. It doesn't look.
Yeah. So I don't know why Uber's down, but that's an example of one. What's another one? On my list, that was the one I was talking about. That one stands out. I haven't seen out in all the stocks I'm watching. Everything's not going down, but it looks like it's done going up. That's my read.
And I mean, that sounds like a good reason to do less.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Okay, folks. I think this is a good time to close out. Thank you for joining us. Adam, stay on the line. I have to talk to you for like 30 seconds after this. But guys, click the link below for a free look at Mesh Prime. That'll also get you an invite to Adam's interview with Tom Sosnoff on Thursday. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Again, click the link below and good luck out there. If you're trading this market, that's all we could say is hold on to your hats.
Fun call. Thanks for showing up, everyone. Appreciate it.
Stay safe. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
William, Mark, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Adam. Yeah, Adam, stay on here for like 30 seconds.